Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, proud to be the world's #1 community for brilliant childcare leaders. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Elif Childcare Insurance. Give Blake a call at 972-232-2258 to get a free quote on childcare business insurance today. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to episode 34 of the Childcare Genius podcast.
We are your hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre. I'm Brian. She's Carol. So there's only a few more days to get tickets to our amazing conference in Montego Bay, Jamaica. So if you've ever wanted to go to a childcare conference or you've been to childcare conferences before and you want to go to an amazing one in the most beautiful setting, Carol and I have been to Jamaica 37 times. We love the island and we want to take our friends to what we consider our second home. We consider ourselves Jamaicans, Jamaican Americans. And so September 18 to 22. Ticket prices are going to go up April 1st. So this is your last chance to buy them and save $100 on a ticket. You can get them right now for $399. Our conference is different than any other conference out there. There are no sales pitches at our conference. We don't have vendors. We have 4-hour days, 4 hours max. It's a 5-day conference, 4 hours a day. You're going to get more content in our conference than you will at any other conference, 20 hours of amazing content. We have poolside coaching. It's an all-inclusive resort. It's everything you've ever wanted to go to a resort, and it's fully tax deductible, which makes it even better. So what are you waiting for? Ticket prices increase on April 1st, so buy your tickets today.
And visit childcaregenius.com/leverage to buy your tickets.
So welcome to part 2 of a 2-part interview with Rob and Krystle Steinhoff.
Last week, we got to know this amazing couple and learned about their school in Georgia.
Yeah, great school too. And since they're both attorneys, today we're going to pick their legal minds and discuss some ways to avoid legal problems in your childcare business. So let's get Rob and Krystle on the line. Hey, Rob and Krystle, welcome back to the Childcare Genius podcast. How are you guys doing today?
We're great. How are you guys?
Good. We're excited to have you back. So last week, we talked a little bit about Thrive Early Learning Center. We talked about being new owners just 2 years into the business and how great you guys are doing. We talked a little bit about how we coach you. We talked a little bit about our workation trip that we took to St. Lucia together. And today, since I know you guys both have a legal background, you're both, I won't say former attorneys because you're still licensed attorneys, but since you're no longer like actively practicing, I wanted to pick your legal brain a little bit so we can help our audience. We have thousands of people that follow this podcast. We're the fastest growing podcast in this segment in childcare. And we've got a lot of followers and they want to know these questions. Like if they could sit down, they want to hang out with you guys. Because of course we love hanging out with you guys too. You're a lot of fun. But since you are both attorneys, I thought it would be great to have you on, get some tips from listeners in your area of expertise. So I'm going to ask some questions for you, Krystle. Then I'm going to ask some questions of you, Rob. So the first question is going to be to you, Krystle. You're going to go in the hot seat.
Okay.
Can you tell our listeners about your area of expertise?
Sure. So my primary focus when I was practicing was general business transactions. So document production, like contracts. And then I also spent quite a bit of time on trademark law.
That sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. Good time.
So why would somebody in the childcare business need a trademark? What is a trademark? If people don't know, what is it?
A trademark is just a way to protect your intellectual property. So you poured all of this time and money and heart into your business. You've come up with your name, the logo. You want to be able to protect that. So if anybody tries to steal it from you, you've got grounds to stand on. If you don't trademark your business logo or name, there's a chance somebody could swoop in, take it, and run with it. And after all of the time you've invested, you don't want that to happen. There's something called a common law trademark, so that if somebody is using a name for 5 years, it's going to have a common law trademark in that geographic region. So you really don't want to delay on trademarking your business if it's something that you love. Other advice I have for people is before you come up with a name, if you're at the starting stages like we were, do a search on the USPTO website to make sure there aren't any confusingly similar names in the childcare industry, because you don't want to get that ball rolling just to find out it's been taken and you won't be able to use it, or you might get a cease and desist in the mail, which nobody wants to do.
Yeah, it's not fun. I had somebody try to steal a trademark from me. It's definitely not fun to go in. So you definitely want to protect your intellectual property, for sure. So that's very interesting.
Very good advice. What do you recommend if parents leave owing money and won't pay?
Well, we don't deal too much with that because we're pretty strict with the tuition policy. But I know a lot of other people will send letters. We just send an email or make a phone call and remind them that tuition's due. But if it's a repeat offender, I think you've got some bigger problems, and you might want to hire local counsel to collect the debt, or maybe file a small claims lawsuit. There are lots of options out there, though.
Yeah, it's just one area that we teach on it. If you have, and I love how you said that, you have good policies. So people don't owe you money because you probably have a strict no pay, no attend policy like we do. No money, no button seat. You're not going to get that spot dropped off. And I've seen so many times I've had to coach people who are $50,000 of parents owing them money. It is unacceptable.
Yeah, you couldn't operate a business like that. Like, our teachers depend on getting paid. We've got bills to pay. And we like to pay our debts on time, and we expect that our families do the same.
Legally, you're just going to have a lot of trouble collecting that money. I mean,
exactly.
And
we found out. That's all right.
I would say your rights are going to be very dependent on state law, so it's going to depend very much on the state where you are, and you're really going to have a tough time under most state law to collecting that money if you really want a big accounts receivable pile up on you like that.
Yeah, I've helped people collect quite a bit through different letters and different ways to do it. But once a parent leaves, you're probably never getting the money. If you have leverage while they're still there, once they leave, you don't. They say, well, I'll just file a small claims court. Then they're just going to call the state on you. I've seen it so many times. We used to send people to collections, and sure enough, they always report us for some stupid thing in the state. And we found out it wasn't worth it. By tightening up your policies, you avoid all that. And if you have a last week deposit or a security deposit, it makes it even better that you're never sending credit to a parent. So we recommend to our clients just have tight policies, never have to worry about it. If somebody happens to leave, maybe owing a week, just let it go. You know, give them a chance to pay it. If not, just write it off.
Choose your battles.
Yeah,
exactly. Because it will bite you in the long run. You know, a complaint is not worth it. And they'll go on Facebook, they give you a 1-star review, they'll do damage, they'll call the state, and all of a sudden now you have to defend yourself. And that costs more than it would be for the $400 that they owed you. You'll lose more long-term with that. So for sure. So let's bring Rob in now and ask you a question.
So Rob, what is your area of law expertise?
So I spent several years practicing in real estate, mostly in real estate transactions, commercial real estate transactions. That's acquisition, the sale of real estate, development work. So a lot of things go along with a general real estate practice like that, which includes the financing, setting up the organizational structure, corporate documents, and things like that. So it's really come in handy having that background. Not that everyone needs it. Not that you need this to be a lawyer or something fancy to get into this. But it's helped me, and it's been fun to be able to use some of that knowledge as we've developed our business.
Very interesting. My real estate attorney gets a lot of money from us. We buy a lot of properties. So real estate attorneys are the attorney that we do a lot of business with every year. And they're probably the coolest attorneys of all of them. At
I
least
like to think
that
so.
I've met. No offense, Krystle. I've only met one trademark attorney. You're a lot cooler than he is, for the record. Hope he's not
We know a
listening.
lot of people. We get to know a lot of people.
You do, but the real estate people tend to be the personal injury people are probably the worst. But the people the real estate people, I think, are the most friendly, and they're not going in there and trying to take somebody's house. They're going in there and helping them with a purchase and transaction. So you're one of my favorite people. No. Yeah, it's not like you're a divorce attorney where somebody's going to hate you or want to kill you or anything like that. So you're much better being in the practicing where you're in now. So, but Rob, let's talk about what advice you would give to center owners to ensure their business is fully protected.
Yeah. I at a minimum, you need to separate your personal interest from your business. And if you're just getting started in this, you're just thinking about it, or maybe you have a home center and you've got a business operating in your home and you're like, I don't really need to do this. It can be really important. If something goes wrong in our business and someone gets hurt, things can go badly for you financially very quickly. And I've seen that in my professional life, and it's really can be tough as a lawyer to try to help somebody out of that situation when they didn't do some of the things they could have done early on in the process. And the internet's a great resource for some of these things. They don't cost a lot of money. They don't take you a lot of time. Frankly, you don't need a lawyer to do a lot of it. You at a minimum, you want to set up a business for your business. Either it can be a corporation or a limited liability company called an LLC. Okay, LLCs generally are very easy, especially if it's just a sole proprietor person and you're operating a childcare center in your home. You can usually file it on the internet in your living room on your computer. It costs a little. It can cost a significant amount of money in some states, like Massachusetts for one, and it can be very, very cheap in states like Colorado. And it kind of runs the gamut. But usually you can do most of these things online, and have a separate bank account for business. That's usually the biggest thing. That if something goes sideways, make sure you've got a separate bank account for business that you don't commingle your funds with your personal accounts. And you're going to want to do this for tax reasons as well. You're going to want to have a separate bank account and try to get as many things separate as you can. Your acquisitions if you're going to Sam's all the time, you set up an account with Sam's in the business and keep it separate from your personal things like that. It's just one of those little things that can save you a lot of pain down the road. The other thing is insurance. Lawyers don't talk about insurance very much. A lot of them don't understand it very well. But one of the biggest ways to protect yourself from liability, you hear, well, I've got to have an LLC. It's going to shield my personal belongings from, a lawsuit. Well, something else to consider is have a good relationship with an insurance agent that understands this business. There's a few out there. Brian can probably recommend some, but have that relationship and do your due diligence as a business owner to understand the insurance side of it. It's often overlooked.
Great questions. A great answer, rather.
Yeah.
I know I have 19 different LLCs that I own, and because every property that I own is in a separate LLC for the same thing it did, for that same liability. We keep everything separate. It's just 19 different bank accounts that protect all. And this sounds like a lot of work. There's a lot of tax returns. Well, with LLCs, you don't have to do a tax return for each of them. Talk to your people. You thing called a disregarded entity. It all depends on how your tax structure is. This is what real estate lawyers like Rob do, and that's what they're there for, to talk about those different things. So it can get very complicated, but the more you can protect yourself by shielding, the more you intermingle, like Rob was saying, your personal funds with your business funds, then you become one of the same. And they do a thing called piercing the corporate veil, as Rob would, and they'll realize that you are the corporation. Then they can go after you personally. Is that right, Rob?
Yeah, that's right. I think it's really important to understand, as your business evolves, it becomes more complex. Um, you need to think about things differently. And so, Brian, I think you started out. I don't know, did y'all start out in your home? In
Yes.
home, yeah.
Yep.
So, your business has changed dramatically over, your career, and we expect ours to as well as we add more centers. But if you're starting out in your home, it's a little different than when you've got multiple centers and you've got investment real estate property. Then you need to be thinking about having these different entities. And so the way you've structured it is exactly how I've done it when I worked at a big law firm. But that can get expensive, and it's not necessarily you don't necessarily need to do that when you're just getting started out. And you can use insurance to protect you in a lot of ways. So it's a balance, and you've got to find the right balance. But as things get more complicated, you're going to want to have more complicated legal structures for sure.
And I love how
As
you
you get
brought
to
that up. I think we were just buying our fourth or fifth property, and we had met with a real estate attorney, and he's like, "You have a lot of exposure here." And it was really getting to the point where if something happened, you could lose the whole thing if it's done wrong. So he recommended, and we worked with our CPA at how to structure everything. But you're right. When you're first starting out, it's a whole lot different. So again, that's what a real estate attorney or somebody like Rob can help you do. Did you want to say something, Krystle?
No, I was going to say, like, you never want all of your eggs in one basket,
Right.
especially
Diversification.
legally.
Yeah, and that's why we talk about multi-center operation. When you have one school, you have all your eggs in one basket. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you have multiple schools in an area, spread that risk out, and that helps. Where we've had clients have fires in schools, floods in schools, tornado take out a school in Indiana. So by having multiple centers, you could always shift the kids to different resources as well. So it's something we're not pushing it, but we're just saying it helps to diversify, and that's why we have it commercial properties, we have residential properties, we have 3 different businesses that we own. So we diversified many different areas. So you never know. Any other questions?
Yeah. Is there any generic advice either one of you would give to help childcare owners avoid getting into legal hot water?
Yeah, I wanted to, think about using lawyers all the time. You see a lot of commercials on TV about, hire a lawyer as soon as something goes wrong. And I think that as business owners, my experience has been that type of attitude and wanting to lawyer up quickly if there's some sort of conflict situation is that it can get very expensive for a business owner very quickly. And I think it's important to remember that if you take some emotion out of it and look at it as a business problem and do the financial analysis of what you're facing, it may be more advantageous for you to find an alternative means to resolve the situation, whether sometimes it's with money, sometimes it's just offering to make things right for the other party in a way that's going to save some face and let everybody walk away not feeling terrible. Because getting litigation attorneys involved can get very expensive very quickly. And I've seen friends of mine, clients, pour, tens of thousands of dollars into something that if they had just written a $10,000 check and shook someone's hand, it would have solved the problem. And they spent months and months fighting in something that ended up not really mattering a whole lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's just important that, I'm always trying to help my colleagues out in the legal profession, but it's important that sometimes as a business owner that you need to think strategically about what the effects are going to be on your business, whether it's going to small claims court for somebody that owes you money or suing someone over a bad real estate deal that's maybe cost you a lot of money. And you gotta really do that analysis. I also think that it's important to know a lawyer before you really need one. Too often I see clients have come needing a litigation lawyer in particular, or an employment law lawyer that specializes in handling uh, cases for business owners like ourselves. workers' comp attorneys, things like that. You know what? As a real estate lawyer, I know a lot of lawyers in all these different fields. It's not a matter of knowing someone that specializes in a lot of things. It's just important to have a relationship with someone, I think, in the industry, whether a trademark lawyer or a real estate lawyer, or any kind of personal injury lawyer. I mean, we know a lot of people. We have a strong network, and sometimes it just means going to a chamber of commerce event, or playing some golf with some folks, and meeting those people, so that you've got that relationship ready when you.
Love that. How about you, Krystle? Anything?
I would add to the trademark side of things that if you do go ahead and get a trademark, make sure you continually police it, which means do searches every now and then to make sure nobody's out there using your name that you might not realize, because you don't want them to get a common law trademark without you knowing. The last thing you want to do, especially if you're building up this business to sell it down the road, you don't want to have your brand diluted, which means there are other people out there using your name. It'll lessen the value that you could potentially get for your business. So keep an eye on other trademarks or other names even after you practice. Very important.
Well, this has been very helpful, and I'm sure the listeners are really appreciating the legal side of it. We'll leave it. We'll leave it with one question. When I ask you a mindset question. So, what do you guys both do as a couple to relax and unwind? I'll ask each one of you.
Well, that's easy, and I think we'll probably have the same answer. But anytime we can go to the beach, we pack up the kids and we go to the beach. It's our happy place where it's just us and nature and the waves, and we love it.
Rob, same
Right?
thing.
Go to the beach. That's right. That's what we do.
Carol, is that yours? Carol loves the beach too.
In the Caribbean.
The Caribbean, the
We-
beach. Yeah.
Not picky.
We live about probably 12 miles from the beach, so
Yeah.
usually once a week we try to just run down there for a few hours.
I mean, we can go to the beach in 40 minutes. We could be at the beach in Maine, but the water's 52 degrees in the summer, mind you. So that's not as nice as the beach in Barbados or St. Lucia or Jamaica for sure. But you're right. The view of the beach. We live on a lake, so we get to look at it every day. Sunsets over the lake, so we're a little bit spoiled that we get that water. But there's something about sand, and there's something about here in
I think the
Seagull.
lake too. I just love the water. It's serene and calming.
Yeah, and that we talk about why we do a mindset question. So different people see different things and what people do to clear their mindset. It's a way to get rid of the stress of the day. You probably don't think about work. You just kind of get.
We just watch our kids run around after birds, and it's just perfect.
Yeah. What are you going to do when they catch one?
They'll never catch one.
Yeah, don't ever say never.
That's true.
There'll be that one bird with a broken leg, and your son catches them, and you're like, "But Mom, you let me chase the birds."
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, guys. Thanks so much for taking your time to visit with us at Child Care Genius Podcast. Thank you for sharing your information. What a great 2-part episode. And we will see you real soon.
Thanks, Brian and Carol.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was some really good information.
Yes, it was very important for childcare owners. I think everybody that listening picked some little bit of tips up. I know I went into a little bit probably in depth. If you're a home provider, I probably went a little bit more in depth than you should, but we're former home providers too. So, it's good to know what you'd have to do if you grew a little bit more. Obviously, there's more legal involvement the bigger your business gets. And we hope you've enjoyed this month where we have brought you 2 powerhouse couples, both with legal expertise to help you in your childcare business. And we wanted to let you know that we're actually giving away our latest book called Advanced Childcare Business Strategies right now. It is totally free. If you go to our website, you can get a free copy of it. And if this is only for U.S. customers only, but if you're a U.S. customer and you want a copy of our latest book that we've written, again, Advanced Childcare Business Strategies, all about expansion, wealth creation, and increased profitability, go ahead and go to our website and order it.
And visit childcaregenius.com/books to order it today.
Order that today. Yep, beautiful. So we're going to conclude this episode 34 of the Child Care Genius Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And just a reminder to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Child Care Genius Podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.